Well, good morning. Welcome to our weekly Bible talk. Now, I should tell you up front that this is probably the last Bible talk that we're going to have for a while. If you come here to Trinity, you know this, that in a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks, actually next week, I'm going to be leaving for 6 weeks of Navy training. As I've mentioned before, in addition to being the pastor at Trinity Baptist Church, I'm also a chaplain with the Navy Reserve. And with that comes required training. And again, I'm going to leave, I think, next Thursday or Friday for 6 consecutive weeks for training in Rhode Island. It's called Officer Development School, and I'd appreciate your prayers for that time. They say it's challenging academically, challenging physically, challenging emotionally, challenging spiritually, so please pray for God's blessing on it. I'm both excited on the one hand, but also quite intimidated by what they tell me lays in store. So I'd appreciate your prayers, but after this, Lord willing, we're going to pick up when I get back, and my thought right now is to begin the Gospel of Mark and work through the Gospel of Mark for quite some time. But with that, obviously I'm not going to be able to do these Bible talks while I'm in Rhode Island, but there's a lot there to think of. Pray for me individually, pray for my family. This will be the longest I've ever been away from my wife since we got married, and definitely the longest I've ever been away from my kids. Pray for my church, that things would go well here. We've hired an interim pastor to shepherd the congregation while I'm away. His name is Pastor Jeff Davis. Pray that he does a faithful job preaching the Word, teaching the Bible, shepherding the sheep. Pray that God protects us from any sort of tragedies or anything like that. But please, if you do pray for me and us, we'd appreciate your prayers along those lines. Just one more thought on that whole thing. I'd encourage you to look at what I'm trying to do in the military, not as being an officer who happens to be a chaplain. Think of it differently. I'd encourage you to think of what I'm trying to do as a missionary who just so happens to be a military officer. I've discovered over the years that some people don't really get what I'm